How do you measure the success of a strategic plan? By the end of this video, I'm going to give you a real tangible outline to see if your strategic plan is actually hitting the mark so that you can grow your business, because that's ultimately what you want to do. Hey, I bet you think that the answer to measuring success lies in some software, don't you? I mean, come on. Here's a scary thought that software is not going to solve. 80% of your net worth, according to the Exit Planning Institute, bottled up in your business. Our business world is awash with this idea of strategic planning and strategic consultants, and they'll come in and they'll spend a half day and a full day and 3 days and 5 days, and you've got all of this stuff, and you end and you're like, yeah, now what are we going to do? And the real answer is not much. You're just going to kind of keep motoring on. And so I want you to do something different. So I'm going to walk you through how to measure the success of a strategic plan, because all of your planning boils really down to one thing: implementation. Thomas Edison said, vision without implementation is hallucination. I don't want you to hallucinate. That's a trip I don't want you to be on. So I want you to define what success looks like in your strategic plan. And this is where I think you're going to tell me, hey, it's this complicated codex of qualified software and, stop. Write it down. That's the success of your strategic plan. If it's written down, it exists. If it's not, it doesn't. In my background as a certified exit planning advisor, we get trained on a scoring methodology. The scoring methodology is simple, 1 through 6. But here's how it goes. I want you to imagine an imaginary line between 2 and 3. So we got 1, 2, imaginary line, 3, 4, 5, 6. When we're actually scoring clients on their potential valuation for personal readiness, and business attractiveness, we've got about 100 and something items that we have to take them through and score them on between 1 and 6. And here's how it goes. They could have a world-class idea, a world-class system that delivers amazing results. But if it's not written down, they get a 2. You could have another client that's got the worst system, it's awful, it doesn't do anything that it's supposed to do, and yet it's written down or documented. They get a 3. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. And so the success of your strategic plans depends first on the fact, is it actually documented? Can I see it? Now, not necessarily on a sheet of paper. It could be a recording, a video, whatever it is. I don't care, but it's got to be out of your head where other people can grab it. But whenever it's locked up here, what you're trying to get me to do is read your mind, and I cannot. There's only a certain number of people that can read people's minds, and I'm even questionable of them. 80% of your net worth is locked away in your business, and 80% of the value of that business is based on having things documented and written down. So when we're looking at the success of a strategic plan and how to measure that, then we've got to look at it categorically and make sure that it's somewhere where not only you can get access to it, but the people around you can get access to it. If they don't have access to it, they don't have clarity, chaos begins to rule, and nobody thrives in chaos. I'm going to walk you through 4 steps on measuring the success of your strategic plan. Now, this is broken down into what we call the 4 Ps, or the 4 foundational cornerstones. When these 4 Ps don't exist, we call them the 4 pains. You ready? Go ahead and get a scratch sheet of paper out. I think this will help you a lot. Number 1 is our purpose pain. But when it's implemented, it brings great clarity. Purpose is broken down like this. This is where your vision, a detailed snapshot of the future of your business, is written down. Your values, these are the curbs along the side of the road, are written down. And your mission, in 10 words or less, what? I know your mission is probably like a paragraph or a page. That's why nobody remembers it. And so your mission is, why are we going to that destination? And it needs to be 10 words or less so that it can be portable within our team, so that they can take it out and continue to perpetuate that mission. A strategic plan without clarity or purpose is not a plan at all. All it is a thoughtful idea. The second P in those 4 Ps that we talked about purpose. Now let's talk about people. In being able to track the success of a strategic plan is, when we think about people, there are a couple of different layers we need to look at this through. Number 1 is the organizational structure that it's going to take for us to get to that ultimate vision that we laid out over in the purpose section. And so this is a basic org chart. It can be broken down into 4 core system categories: marketing, sales, ops, and admin. So just write those out in vertical categories: marketing, sales, ops, and admin, and then underneath you can begin to write out specific role titles. So we take this idea of role first, people agnostic when we come to build out the org chart: marketing, sales, ops, and admin. Why? It's because we want to focus on the effectiveness of the role regardless of the people, because people can come and go, but the role is the structural integrity of the organization to get you to the vision that you wrote down in the first P of purpose. So under that org chart, we're also going to have job roles. What is that? That's actually task by task clarity on what that particular role is being required to do within the organizational structure to get us to the purpose and the vision of where we're going. And so when we write out those roles, don't go online and just go, hey, what does the superintendent do or whatever. I want you to write down what task needs to be done within that role so that we can get to the organizational integrity to get to our vision. Now, once we have the role in place, we can then take that role, we can go into AI and let it do some heavy lifting for us, and we can actually build a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, and annually checklist. This is kind of a scorecard. So it shows the team member this is exactly what we're asking you to do, task by task, every day, every week, every month, etc. The final part in the people vertical that you need to be thinking through is your hiring and onboarding process. Now, I have got one of the most amazing videos that you can watch that will walk you step by step how to train and onboard a new hire. So make sure you click on that below and make some time to go watch that. It is super valuable for you. So when you align your org structure, your job roles, and then you've got a methodology for bringing on the right people the right way, now you've got people integrity to help align with your values for the purpose that you've designated to get to the vision of where you're going. The third vertical of measuring the success of your strategic plan is to look at it through the lens of process. Remember those 4 systems I mentioned? Marketing, sales, ops, and admin. I want you to do an exercise for yourself that's going to be powerful. Get out a scratch sheet of paper and set a timer for 5 minutes. Write marketing, sales, ops, and admin across the top line of the vertical of that page. And then hit start on your timer, and for 5 minutes, I want you to document every single process you can possibly imagine within each one of those 4 verticals. You will start to get process clarity around your business that will help you evaluate your strategic plan in such a way to go, wow, we are making measurable progress. And oh, by the way, people in the people vertical, these are the processes that your roles are being asked to do. The success of every strategic plan has to in some way involve the metrics, the fiscal metrics of a business. That is the cash. Why? It's because cash is the fuel that allows you to have options. And so when we have cash, we have options. But if we don't have cash and we're living week to week, receivable to receivable, or we're using tomorrow's deposits to pay for yesterday's bills, we do not want to do that. The IRS does not like that at all. Then what we want to do is create profit integrity around those 4 P's. So we have purpose, people, process, and then this 4th vertical of profit. That's where we want to go in and do things like subdivide our cash accounts. So every dollar that comes in, we metaphorically cut it up and put it into separate bank accounts so that we can actually see an operating expense, tax, cost of goods, capital reinvestment, profit, all of these areas, not how much cash we have on a P&L, but how much cash we actually have subdivided in bank accounts. Remember the old Dave Ramsey cash envelope system? That's all this is. It's just for business, but using real bank accounts. By the way, side note, don't try to do that on a spreadsheet. This is all psychology, not some radical little thing that you can just do on a spreadsheet. The other element of the profit side are things like dashboards and pro formas and budgets. You do need those because the budget gives you clarity on what you think you're going to spend. The pro forma gives you clarity on what you think you're going to pay and earn. And so when we have these, the dashboard can collect all of that data so that we can start to see it. So how do you measure success of your strategic plan? Write out the 4 P's of purpose, people, process, and profit, the 4 systems within profit of marketing, sales, ops, and admin, and begin to do a brain dump of everything that you want to see in that business. And then every week or every month, you can set a reminder and just go look at your progress according to what you wrote down. But the ultimate success of a strategic plan are the people that are going to help you drive that. So make sure you go watch this video. It is a keystone video from me that I mentioned earlier, so you can make time to train and onboard those new hires. My name's Scott Beebe. We work with business owners between 3 and 100 employees so that you can be liberated from chaos to make time for what matters most.